Humans of the cardboard. Back to Just Nuts here. We've got big reveals tonight. We're looking at all 7 Goatee cards that just got revealed in Italian, apparently. And we've got them, all 7. So this should be the second wave of Goatee, and unless Konami comes out with just like another wave later down the line. But I know we're already confirmed for a new archetype, I believe in Photon Hypernova. So I don't think we'll have any more in there, but maybe down the line we'll have them. Maybe after a year or so we'll get some more stuff, but we'll see. So yeah, let's get into it. We know this is like a banishing synchro fish archetype. Pretty cool. Let's get into it. So the first one here we have Igzeep, the Omen of the Goatee. This is a level 4 water fish effect monster, 15 attack, 0 defense. If a fish monster or monsters becomes banished, you can special summon this card from your hand. Okay, not too shabby. During the standby phase of the next turn after this card was banished, you can target one of your Goatee traps that is banished or engraved and set that target. Not a terrible card, kind of just extends from hand and go ahead and gets you some recursion on a trap card, which I don't know how easily the deck inherently banishes its own traps, but okay. Otherwise, you use a trap, it'll be engraved anyway for you, so just being able to get it back is pretty cool. So that's not too shabby, but it is a little slow during the standby phase of the next turn, so just kind of meh. But the extensions seems to be the better part of this. All right, next up here we have a level 6 water fish. This is Snopius, Shadow of the Goatee. 21 attack, 0 defense. During the main phase quick effect, you can banish 2 fish monsters from your hand and or graveyard to special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can target a face-up card on the field, banish it when it leaves the field. And if this card becomes banished, you can banish a fish monster from your graveyard to add this card to your hand. Whoa, this card's actually got some legs to it. I'm actually liking this card quite a bit. So a couple things. This card is just pretty much a hand trap. The problem is it is very costly, especially if you use it turn 0. But to be fair, because all of the Goatee monsters give you pretty respectable recursion effects on the next turn after they're banished, potentially banishing 2 like solid targets, solid like Goatee targets, from your hand even, going second to summon this card. And to be fair, it's not the most powerful hand trap in the world, but if you target an opponent's monster and say like, oh, this is a card they really need engraved, they're going to, Kit Kalos, target something like Kit Kalos when it's on the field and say like, oh, this is banished next time it leaves the field, that means they're not going to be able to get that Kit Kalos recursion effect, which is pretty solid, to cut them off of that line. So pretty cool, pretty interesting. We'll see, but like that's pretty cool. And then also when he's banished, he's gonna give you the ability to potentially get himself back to hand by banishing a fish engrave, which then gets you even more there. I think this card's got a lot going on. This is one of the better cards in the archetype to me out the gate here. And the final new main deck monster is Zep, Ruby of the Goatee. This is a level 2 water fish tuner. Finally another tuner here. This is 0 attack, 1000 defense. You can banish this card from your hand, then target a fish monster in your graveyard, banish it. That's it, just banish it, okay. During your opponent's turn, while this card is banished, you can special summon it. Okay. If this card is special summoned, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves. Synchro summon 1 fish synchro monster using this card you control. So there we go. Kind of a lot going on with this card, but this seems really solid. So it has all you have to do is put any fish engrave, and it's going to already give you the ability to banish itself. Then on the next turn, it's going to come back. And not only does it come back, but then it gives you the ability to do an immediate synchro summon for a fish, which not only is just the cards the archetype already has, but also stuff like, is that White Aura Whale? That card's actually pretty powerful as well. There's a couple different good options there. Pretty cool card. I think this is one of the better ones. I'm curious about this. I know this is like a weird translation thing right now. It just says during your opponent's turn, while this card is banished, you can special summon it. Is that just like a quick effect whenever? Just summon this card whenever you want? Because then this archetype starts getting even more and more interesting if we can just straight up pull these banished guys onto the opponent's turn whenever, because then it makes stuff like Torrential Tribute pretty crazy as well in the deck. But I don't know. Pretty cool. All right, now we move to the X-Check monsters. We have 2 here. This is Irionpos, Serpent of the Goatee. This thing is ugly as poop. Oh my god, this thing looks horrible. 2100 attack, 0 defense, just a level 6 water fish synchro. Any tuner and any non-tuner, so completely generic, which is pretty cool. If this card is synchro summoned, you can banish a level 6 or lower fish straight from the deck. That's very cool. Wow, okay, so this is probably going to be one of those cards where I look at it and I'm like, this is just a really good synchro climb tool. You make this card first, he's going to banish something, so you're getting another resource on the opponent's turn, and then you synchro climb off of him again into something else. Secondly, if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can target one fish monster in your graveyard, banish that target, then you can add one fish monster with an equal or lower level from your deck to your hand. Again, really, really cool. One more thing that's interesting to note with this, he can target himself, I believe. So if he is sent to grave as synchro material, you can target himself, banish himself, then add a fish monster that's level 6 or lower from deck to hand. And that's any fish monster, by the way. So this guy is a generic fish searcher, a generic fish banisher from deck. This card seems like a really, really good, needed synchro climb tool that I'm very happy that we got here. All right, new boss monster, I'm assuming. This is Guoglim, Spear of the Goatee, level 8 water fish synchro, 2700 attack, 0 defense. He needs a fish tuner, but other than that, his other materials are generic. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you banish that opponent's monster. Okay, that's a non-targeting banish. That's pretty good, but it does take the battle phase, so it's not great. It's just good. During your opponent's standby phase, you can banish this card. Then if all the monsters used as material for this card, Synchro Summon, are in your graveyard, special summon all of them, but banish them when they leave the field. That's really good, especially if we're talking about stuff like the new card, this guy, Zep, because Zep says, like, when he's special summoned. Yeah, if this card is just special summoned generically, get the quick effect for a synchro summon. So this is going to give you the ability to pretty much just tag out. Or, I'm sorry, this is during your opponent's standby phase. Keep that in mind. But then they all get banished when they leave the field. So that could potentially be 2 to 3 monsters right there, all getting banished. Obviously, we know how this deck works. They're all going to come back probably and be pretty good. It's an interesting card. It feels like the second effect is solid, but it's still really slow, just like this archetype tends to be. And I'm not sure the first effect is quite strong enough to really warrant this card seeing a lot of play. But okay, we'll see. All right, then we finish up with 2 trap cards, no spells here. Which does not bode well for increasing the speed of the deck, but okay. This is Goatee Cosmos, a normal trap card. Apply these effects in sequence based on the number of banished fish monsters. So if there's 1 or more, your fish monsters cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. That's pretty poop. But if there's 4 or more, the activation and effect of fish monsters effect activated on your field cannot be negated this turn. Okay, that's a little bit better. Now we're looking at some like Magical Meltdown-esque protection there. And if there's 8 or more banished fish monsters, special summon a fish synchro straight from the extra deck, and this does count as a synchro summon. Now that is incredibly powerful. Unfortunately, 8 or more banished fish monsters is such a tall ask, man. That is a lot. That is so many. I just don't see that being like super easy to do or just easy enough to do. Especially if we can't do a turn 1. If we can't do it in a combo turn 1 where we also search this card and get 8 fish banished, then I'm not sure I can vie for this card to be played at all. And then we have Goatee Fury here. This is a continuous trap where you can target 1 fish monster you control and 1 monster your opponent controls. Banish both monsters until your next standby phase. Okay. This is continuous. So is that just like a once per turn? That's a really, really good. If a fish monster or monsters is special summoned to your field, while any card is banished, you can banish this card from your graveyard or face-up spell and trap zone so that all fish monsters you currently control gain 100 attack for each card currently banished until the end of this turn. Okay, that was kind of reading like it was going to be like a really crazy effect, but it ended up being like super mediocre. I guess if this card's already engraved, then it's just like kind of a free attack boost. So like whatever, like that's cool. But if it's still on field, honestly, we're just looking at this first effect. And I think this is actually quite good. I don't remember exactly how searchable the traps are in the deck, but if they're pretty easy to get to, this is the one you want for sure. Because it's like interrupting your opponent. by tagging out one of your monsters as well. But your deck is the deck that actually pluses off of this. So I like that quite a bit. For sure. It's just once per turn. That's actually pretty good. This card's good. So overall, I like the Furia, or Fury of the Goatee. This one's okay. This trap's like, I don't think it's going to see play at all. This guy seems really good for synchro climbing. This is a good tuner edition. This guy seems really good as well, especially if you get him set up. Like, there's probably just going to be turn 1 plays where you set him up in hand with like 2 good fish banish targets in grave, and then you're just like macro cosmosing 1 monster. So when it's banished when it leaves, or actually a card, and then also like getting the rest of like, and then getting 2 fish to trigger, they come back on the next turn. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then this guy was just okay, just a level 4 extender, which could come up, to be fair. Like, the deck definitely is going to want extenders, but all in all, decent. From where I kind of took Goatee for where they were prior to this set coming out, I don't know exactly all of the intricate interminglings of effects and how everything's going to work quite yet. I probably need to just take a deeper dive into that, but feel free to let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on that stuff. Is there something I missed? Are there any particular interactions with these cards and the first wave that are really, really worth noting? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below on that, and just overall your thoughts, just where Goatee is now. Is it actually a legit rogue deck? Is it too slow? This deck seems like it's kind of just like Metaphys-esque. Maybe better than Metaphys, but like Metaphys-esque in that it's too slow. You're waiting for a lot of stuff to just come back the next turn. And that's kind of brutal. That kind of leaves you open for a lot of OTKs and stuff like that in such a fast game like Yu-Gi-Oh! So we'll see, but pretty cool nonetheless. I'm still excited. I'm excited to see the final, whatever it's going to be, 13 other cards in the set as well. We're going to have some TCG exclusives. We'll probably have some other imports. I'll be excited to see those, but I'll bring those to you as they drop. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet, and you want to stay updated on all things Yu-Gi-Oh! News. Come on, guys. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.